Austin Avenue, Decatur, Arkansas, 72722 in Benton County. My name is Daniel Pilkington, and I am Deputy Chief Counsel for Energy and Mineral Resources for the Department of Energy and Environment. I will serve as the hearing officer for this hearing. The time is 6:02 on October 14th, 2025. We are conducting this hearing at the Department of Energy and Environment in North Little Rock, Arkansas. This hearing will be conducted in accordance with the administrative procedures set by the Arkansas Pollution Control and Ecology Commission in 8 CAR Part 11, Subpart 101, etc. Specifically 8 CAR Part 11, Subpart 209. I think that's correct. After DEQ considers all comments received during the public comment period, DEQ will issue a final decision on the draft permit and provide responses to the issues raised during the public comment period. Verbal comments will be accepted, but in the interest of accuracy, written comments are preferred. Comments should include the commenter's name and either their address or email address. If you've not done so, please fill out a comment card. Comment cards, I believe, are located in the back. The allotted time for verbal comments is going to be 5 minutes each. And at this time, I would also want to bring up that if your comments will be repetitive or redundant of your written comments, I would ask that you make a brief verbal comment and provide your written comments for the record. I'll start by calling the names from the comment cards that have been filled out. Right now, I believe I only have one, and that is Brian Keister. You may step forward and provide your comment at this time. Please state your full name, physical address, or email address, and the organization that you represent.
My name is Brian Keister. I'm here on behalf of Hall Estill Attorneys at Law. My address is 521 East 2nd Street, Suite 1200, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74120. I'm here on behalf of the City of Tulsa and the Tulsa Metropolitan Utility Authority. Is there anything else I need to say, Mr. Pickland?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. So I have provided, my office has provided written comments in regards to the permit, and I would like to address those briefly, just in the sense that I believe the letter was sent to Mr. Basil yesterday and Guy Lester as well, to my recollection on October 13, 2025. Which are the expansive, more detailed lists, and I will go over them briefly here today.
Sure.
Okay. So I represent the City of Tulsa and the Tulsa Metropolitan Utility Authority. Tulsa is the largest provider of potable water in Northeast Oklahoma, and it utilizes raw water from the Uche-Spavinaw watershed. If the approval of the City of Decatur's recent application will dramatically affect and negatively impact Tulsa and the water quality for northeastern Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Uche-Spavinaw watershed is of vital importance, so much so that there was a protracted litigation against the City of Decatur and several chicken producers regarding pollution of the watershed. The ultimate outcome of that litigation resulted in a settlement agreement that required strict compliance with water treatment policies. Those terms have been both incorporated into Oklahoma and Arkansas law. Plain and simple, the issue in the litigation is still what brings me here today. Decatur's shown an inability to appropriately treat the water that is discharged into the watershed. The city's continually violated the terms of the settlement agreement, violated the terms of the restrictions of the permit, and acted in a way detrimental to the water supply. If you allow any expansion by Decatur in the influx flow rate under the current draft submitted permit request, it would adversely impact water quality by polluting the watershed with unacceptable additional phosphorus. Decatur Wastewater Treatment Plant has a long history, multiple violations of its permit from December 2020 through the present, including multiple consent order violations. In fact, Decatur Wastewater Treatment Plant has exceeded Arkansas law's limitation on pollution on 78 different occasions. More recently, in 2024, Decatur's Wastewater Treatment Plant reported 50 permit violations. As of July 25, there's been at least 8 instances of exceeding dissolved oxygen limits, 47 instances of exceeding ammonia limits, 18 instances of exceeding phosphorus limits, and 5 instances of nitrite violations. These failures show Decatur's inability to competently evaluate and operate, even with the current flow rate. The pattern of severe and regular violations present questions as to why Decatur has not been required to take affirmative steps toward compliance with the law. DEQ should perform an in-depth and appropriate review of violation history and require Decatur to remedy these issues before allowing a flow increase. Tulsa explicitly inquired of Decatur in writing on October 1st and on March 12th regarding its recent history of violations and plans to prevent future violations. Decatur never provided a response to Tulsa's inquiry. The city of Tulsa and TMUA and affected Arkansas citizens like Ms. Driggers are not the only one noticing Decatur's problems. The Arkansas Department of Health has issued several letters showing their concern with the plant's capacity and do not recommend any additional capacity. In fact, in a letter from ADH to Decatur dated December 19, the ADH stated, based on the information we currently have, there is no available capacity for additional flows to the Decatur wastewater treatment plant. On May 29, Noah Weldon, district engineer for ADH, wrote to Decatur's consulting engineers at Algier and asked if the current wastewater treatment plant is capable of handling higher flow and loading rates, and to explain why ammonia, nitrogen, and phosphorus exceedances have occurred within the last year and what will be done to prevent these future exceedances. These questions have gone unanswered. On September 24, the Department of Health raised specific questions regarding the IPS and found it questionable that two pumps running at the same time could achieve the proposed 5.3 MGD permitted plant capacity because of friction loss. Additionally, Decatur wastewater treatment plant is the culprit behind complaints related for overflows. There have been numerous overflows at the wastewater treatment plant, influent pump station, and MBR unit overflows. Decatur is bypassing and reporting and measuring of its violations, and this is an intentional violation of the current permit and the federal court case order. Decatur has even admitted to ADEQ that during heavy rains, the wastewater treatment plant operates at over 100% capacity. In addition, the EPA also stated that the proposed design flow would increase, the proposed design flow increase would not comply with the conditions of the TMDL. The evidence of violations and testing performed by Arkansas Water Resources Quality Lab in July of August 23 found total phosphorus in Columbia Hollow Creek at an incredibly high 29.323 mgl. Total phosphorus in Columbia Hollow water has greatly increased downstream from the Decatur wastewater treatment plant outfall. The city of Tulsa collected its own data in Columbia and found from April 10th, 2025 through September 11th, 2025 shows a substantial increase in the concentration of total phosphorus and an abundance of E. coli samples. It is clear that phosphorus concentrations from Columbia indicate an unaddressed and unsolved phosphorus problem. The city of Tulsa and TMUA are gravely concerned. We've engaged a geoscience expert to review the draft permit in conjunction with the data at hand. His conclusion: the modification request is not in compliance with the settlement order, the federal court order, Arkansas regulations, or in the best interest of Decatur and the Ouachita-Spavinaw watershed affecting northwest Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma, and Tulsa surrounding area. Over the last 3 years, the annual total phosphorus load discharged by Decatur has increased by more than a factor of 6, meaning that the discharge load of total phosphorus has massively increased from 928 pounds a year to 5,310 a year. An increase in discharge would obviously be expected to increase the phosphorus load, and that's why this should be disallowed. Clearly, any increase in phosphorus load from Decatur will adversely impact compliance with the TMDL and will violate the TMDL. Decatur is not proposing a reduction in its output of phosphorus. Its permit modification requests the opposite, an increase. At a minimum,
Sir, we've gone well beyond the 5, so.
May I briefly conclude? At a minimum, a permit modification should only be considered if Decatur wastewater treatment plant makes substantial improvements beyond those contemplated, reduces the intake of high pollutant wastewater from Simmons Processing through a more robust pretreatment program, Decatur has indicated no plans to increase pretreatment or reduce the amount of wastewater which it takes, and therefore this should be disallowed. Before granting any sort of modification, ADEQ should require strict compliance with the regulations, testing requirements, and the city of Decatur to start properly measuring the flow, effluent flows, and explain a plausible and achievable way to remedy its continued violations into the Uche-Spavinaw watershed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keister. Is there anybody else that would like to submit a verbal comment at this time? Hearing no additional comments, I believe this hearing is adjourned. The time is 6:12. Thank you.